Next up, we have Outpost for contemporary art.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm try and use this thing if possible. Okay. I'm Tom McKenzie, and this is
Leonardo Bravo,
board
member of Outpost.
with the Outpost for Contemporary Art.
And we just wanted to say we're honored to be here and appreciate the ability to present to you guys in conjunction with all these other amazing organizations and groups that we're here to be part of.
Thank you so much. You all look really good from here. This is an incredible event. We want to see more.
Keep eating, keep drinking.
All right. Yes. Outpost started with a vision to connect LA in new ways. Built on thinking globally and acting locally, Outpost intended to spur community dialogue through residencies with artists from target areas around the world and community-based projects.
So after 6 years, these remain unique contributions to LA's cultural dialogue.
As a result of what we've been going through recently, we've become less top-heavy.
And the main thing is that before we were really about focus on international exchange.
Now, we're creatively addressing the immediate needs of our artistic community. You guys.
So you can see that we're doing a little song and dance here between Tom and us. Outpost reduced its overhead, its hierarchies fell away, and it's become now an open source platform engaged by its own community.
Can you tell them about the Armory?
You want to hear about the Armory? Okay. So we're working towards a structural integration with the Armory. That means we're going to be in a partnership and moving towards mutual support. Outpost, which means Outpost's open and independent spirit, will not be lost, and we aim to maintain the nimbleness and flexibility that makes us accessible to our own artistic community.
We're going to continue to engage community members in traditional ways that Outpost has done and in new ways, like
With guest curators,
creative project managers.
and more active and activated advisory board.
So for the near future, we're not going to hire any permanent staff.
But yet maintain that collective structure that we have right now and create a stronger framework.
So current areas of collaboration we're working on with the Armory include
The Highland Arts Agents Return. This is a project that culminates in a book that documents Pacific Standard Time, the Performance Arts Festival. Highland Art Agents were a loose affiliation of artists in the early 80s who explored the idea of functioning as agents for each other, way ahead of its time. And among their contributions, these artists produced Public Spirit, which was LA's biggest art festival until Pacific Standard Time.
And many of you saw some of our communications about X Andrade. Ecuadorian artist X Andrade is an urban anthropologist and chairman for life of the Full Dollar Corporation, a company that traffics in anthropology and contemporary art. He was scheduled to have his residency in LA this fall, where the Full Dollar Collective would transform the face of Highland Park's York Boulevard through collaborations between local-based artists, sign painters, and small businesses. However, due to complications, this project has been put on hold. And we're at the very beginning right now of revisiting this with the Armory support and collaboration. As we enter into 2012, Julie Deemer, Mariam Hossinzadeh, and Irene Satsos are developing the new timeline while assessing what worked and what didn't in our first attempt at this ambitious project.
The final area of collaboration is our signature event, the Monster Drawing Rally, which is scheduled to happen again at the Armory in spring 2012.
Now we're really going to tell you how it was. So if Outpost was a patient, let's give you an idea what its symptoms were over the last 6 months.
Basically, overhead expenses got way out of control. For example, the executive director's salary, and basically things such as rent.
We hemorrhaged board members.
We missed projections and support from individual donors.
Grant funding dwindled.
Because of the need and appetite of the cultural community, our programming actually never slowed down.
We almost collapsed.
So Outpost was not structured to withstand the current economic system.
So we used a tourniquet to stop the bleeding.
A Heimlich maneuver to stop choking.
The remaining 4 board members stepped in and began cutting overhead. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, this included discontinuing our long-standing executive director position because there were no funds for payroll. Leaving our space, which many of you know at Avenue 50, because there are no more funds for rent, and other steps.
So we asked help from our friends, and primary help, as we said, the Armory stepped up.
We're going to get to Q&A in just a sec. So the NEA chair, Rocco Landeman, maybe one of the more proactive advocates to hold that position, cites studies that show that maybe there are just too many nonprofits in America.
Well, how can we interpret this constructively, Rocco?
It's time to get together.
So basically, I think in the moment of the 99% movement, the lessons we have learned is that the most basic thing is that we need to draw on each other's strengths and form a unified vision for progress. And Outpost brings that unique programs to Armory. Through Outpost, the Armory gains the more direct reach to our community of working artists in Northeast LA while promoting international exchange. They get a hand in
International residency,
community-based programs,
an active and vibrant, fluid community of local artists.
and hopefully Outpost survives through access to Armory's infrastructure.
So what remains?
With the help of the Armory, our reach in the Highland Park community remains. And through this structural integration, we hope to be a model,
A laboratory.
from which other collectives and organizations who consider this kind of integration and have suffered this kind of economic collapse can learn.
So please help us fulfill our obligations and help us ensure that Outpost thrives and remains as an open and accessible community resource for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Question.
We rehearsed that only 2 minutes ago.
Okay, the question was where would the money go towards? When we mentioned that the patient suffered, we incurred some challenging debt. We also need to fund ourselves through this transition period while we are creating a structural integration between the organizations. We are also maintaining, a great tie-in, thank you by the way. We're also maintaining our programming. This t-shirt I have on right now is made today by Ismail Donda III, who's right now doing a t-shirt revival at Outpost, and I want to invite everybody here after this event to go down and have a beer if there's any left. We can afford like a case. But at least go down and do a t-shirt revival with us at the space. We continue to be at the space through December, and after that we will be in touch.